Young Frankenstein was never meant to be just another comedy. It was designed as a bold revival of classic horror mixed with rapid-fire satire, deliberately filmed in striking black and white. Off-camera, however, the production was just as wild, confrontational, and unforgettable as what audiences eventually saw. Battles with the studio over artistic control, secret jokes slipped into scenes, surprise appearances, and on-set mishaps that turned into inspired moments almost caused the entire project to fall apart. Somehow, that madness transformed into one of the most adored cult films ever made. What follows are strange behind-the-scenes stories about Young Frankenstein that most people have never heard, beginning with a fight over color that nearly shut the movie down before filming truly began. The first clash centered on black and white. In the 1970s, studio executives believed color was essential, and releasing a comedy without it sounded like financial disaster. The filmmakers disagreed, led by a determined director who refused to sacrifice the look of the film. Wanting to honor the original Universal monster movies, he insisted from day one that it be shot without color. Executives tried tempting him with bigger budgets, flashier promotion, and even color test footage, but he stood firm, warning that he would leave if they forced the issue. Eventually, the studio surrendered, but with one unusual rule. Marketing materials were not allowed to mention that the film was black and white. It was an odd compromise, but it protected the creator's vision. In the end, the decision wasn't driven by nostalgia, but by defiance, and it gave the movie its eerie beauty and lasting power. The second story involves the moment that almost didn't exist. Early in production, there was heavy debate over a now-legendary sequence featuring the monster in Formal, where performing a stage-style musical number. Even the director felt it was too strange, too long, and too different from the rest of the movie, and he pushed to remove it. The lead actor argued for it, convinced the joke, the rhythm, and the shock would work. After days of disagreement, the director allowed it to be filmed mainly to prove it would fail. When they reviewed the footage with costumes, lighting, music, and crowd reaction, everything suddenly worked. The director not only approved it, he admitted it might be the strongest scene in the film. What began as a creative battle became one of the most quoted moments in comedy history. The third secret is that much of the film's humor grew out of disorder. Several cast members quietly altered lines between takes, experimented with delivery, and adjusted timing without approval. The director initially disliked these surprises and repeatedly told them to follow the script. One actor even switched his character's accent mid-scene without warning. When the cameras rolled, the unexpected choice made the crew erupt with laughter. Although furious at first, the director changed his mind after watching the playback. The result wasn't just amusing, it was bizarre and magnetic. From that point on, he allowed more freedom, realizing the risk was creating some of the movie's most unforgettable moments. Another challenge was physical. The performer playing the monster endured hours of prosthetic work each day, only to have the makeup begin to melt under the intense studio lights. Sweat pooled beneath the latex, scars sagged, and pieces of the face shifted out of place. Filming frequently stopped so the crew could cool him down and rebuild the collapsing makeup. Despite the discomfort, he rarely complained. Between takes he danced, performed complex physical comedy, and delivered a role so iconic that viewers never suspected how miserable the conditions were. His patience and professionalism turned a technical nightmare into cinematic magic. Some of the biggest laughs were never written at all. A subtle running gag involved Igor's hump switching sides, disappearing and reappearing without explanation. This wasn't a continuity error. The actor moved it intentionally from scene to scene without telling anyone. The crew was confused, the audience puzzled, and when the director finally noticed, he laughed and ordered it left in the film. The unexplained detail became one of the movie's quiet inside jokes, a small piece of mischief hidden in plain sight. One performance stood out by refusing to chase comedy. The actress playing Frau Blucher delivered her lines with icy seriousness, clipped speech, and a strange accent that belonged nowhere in particular. While others leaned into exaggeration, she remained completely straight-faced, which caused her co-stars to break constantly. The director chose not to change her approach. Instead, He edited around the laughter, preserving her detached performance. She never broke character, but she broke everyone else, and in doing so, she quietly stole scene after scene. Casting also came together unexpectedly. The role of Inga was originally intended for a more classical, traditionally trained actress. Disagreements behind the scenes suddenly reopened the search just as filming approached. A co-star suggested another actress who hadn't originally been considered but instinctively understood the tone. She arrived without fanfare, immediately captured the character, and played her as warm, aware, and playful rather than a simple joke. From her first reading, the choice was obvious. She wasn't a replacement. She became the role. One of the most memorable appearances came from a chance conversation on a tennis court. A well-known dramatic actor told one of the stars he wanted to try comedy. That casual remark led to him being cast as the blind hermit who unknowingly tortures the monster while trying to help him. With no rehearsal and only a single day of shooting, he performed the entire sequence with complete sincerity, spilling hot soup, setting his thumb on fire, and destroying furniture, without ever smiling. What might have been a small gag turned into a standout moment, proving that even the most serious performers could deliver unforgettable comedy.